morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the English news from Djibouti channel. Here are the headlines of our news edition tonight. The main titles are the headlines are today the President of the Republic received a delegation from the Islamic Development Bank. On the other side, on continental news, migrant allowed to disembark in Lampedusa. Welcome if you join us. The head of state, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, received today at the Palace of the Republic Dr. Hani Salim Sambol, the Director General of the International Islamic Finance and Trade Corporation, an institution acting main financial promoter within the Islamic Development Bank. The audience between President Guelleh and Mr. Sambol focus on the new investment project that the International Islamic Finance and Trade Corporation intends to initiate in Djibouti. The principle of extending its loans and credit lines to banking institutions operating in Djibouti as well as to the domestic private sector is one of the new areas of investment that the ITFC now intends to undertake in our countries. Today, completions of 700 million memorandum of understanding will receive as a pre-fund of financing new economic and commercial cooperation project between the Djibouti side and the International Islamic Finance and Trade Corporation. The International Bank of Islamic Bank of Development, Dr. Hani Salim, indicate that the Republic of Djibouti and the ITFC share a long trade of collaboration, particularly in the field of transaction related to the import of petroleum and energy products. On his side, the Minister of Economy and Finance in charge of Industry, Mr. Ilyas Moussa Douale, explained mainly the new investment project that the International Islamic Finance and Trade Corporation intends to initiate in Djibouti. The principle of extending its loans and credits line to banking institutions operating in Djibouti as well as to the domestic private sector constitution in different area of new investment. The Minister of the Communication, Mr. Bahdan Abdullah, received delegations led by the Minister of Somaliland in his office. The both sides discussed the ways and means to strengthen the relation and the collaboration, and then they visited the post of Djibouti, where the director of the post welcome them and explain the different part of the office. In his part, the Minister of Communication say that the visit of the Somalilandese Prime Minister are beneficial for both sides and both countries, Djibouti and Somaliland, to work closely and cooperate together. The Minister of Labor in charge of administration reform, Mr. Isman Ibrahim Roble, received in audience the German ambassador Anglais in his office this morning. This meeting took place in the presence of the Secretary General of the Minister of Labor, Mr. Abdullahi Ali Mohammed, and the Communication Advisor of the Minister, Mr. Khadir Omar Qanile. During this meeting, the Minister gave an overview of the areas in which he would like to receive support from the German embassy, in particular in the fields of employability and the integration of young people. He also affirmed the excellent friendship between the two countries and assured that he will take all necessary steps to further strengthen them. A foreign delegations led by the President of using clubs visited Djibouti's new international free trade zone located at PK 23. The French User Club is a thing that was created about 30 years ago and which bring together French business leaders from the agriculture sector but also from the cooperative storage negotiation and the agriculture food sector, and then from large associations of institutions. This is to say that the entire agriculture environment is also present in the club, so they take about an ecosystem because not only in their 61st anniversary company but also there is a network of experts and there are several device high school that are associated with this transmitter club, such as business school, agriculture school, and journalism school. And then there are 3 ministers that are associated with this club. These are that activities are mainly composed of debates, meetings, and annual studies missions. The project director, Mr. Aden Moussa Duxiya, said he was delighted by this meeting of the French businessmen leaders gathered under the banner of this French using club. After the RTD region, the procurement commission led by the Secretary General of the Minister of Interior, Mr. Siraj Omar Abdul Qadir, visited the United Region on Sunday to supervise the transfer of services between the outgoing prefect assigned to the region and the prefect, Mr. Aden Darar Moussa, newly appointed by the President decree. Before his ceremony of transfer of services, the warm welcome of community under all this diversity which mobilized in the place of the United of the capital of Dakhil, one hand to welcome the new prefect and the other hand to show his attachment and gratitude towards the outgoing prefect. A cleanliness and sanitation campaign has been launched in recent days by the prefecture in different neighborhoods. This cleanliness and sanitation campaign was conducted this morning by the subprefect in the capital, Mr. Abdi Hassan, supported by the neighborhood chief and his deputy, the inhabitants and the road inspectors. The waste and the rubbish produced by the inhabitants being collected every day by the road services. The problem is that of devices and other bulky objects that are dumped on the public road. To carry out this operation, the subprefect held an information meeting with the inhabitants of the neighborhoods at the public primary school, attended by the imam of the mosque, the neighborhood chief, men and women. Due to the multiple local operations carried out by the various gendarmerie brigade, the notable and the inhabitants of common of Balbala alerted the gendarmerie to a particular sensitive case. On this basis, on instructions from the Gendarmerie High Command, Sheikh Musa Brigade investigators raided the targeted address where an informal clinic had been set up. During this operation, the gendarmerie seized an individual who was engaged in voluntary terminations of pregnancy using high toxic and prohibited products. And now let's move on continental news in Tunis, where the election campaign lasted 11 days and ended on Friday at midnight. 11 days to convince the 7 million Tunisians called to the polls on Sunday for the first round of the early presidential elections. They have a choice of 26 contenders, 2 of whom have decided after the deadline to withdraw. Among the contenders immediately prosecuted for money laundering and behind bars since 23 August. Nabil Kharawi are the first president candidates of the Anglais Islamist-inspired party, Mr. Abdel Fattah Moro. Here we arrive at the end of this news edition. Thank you for watching us. Goodbye.